Mike, 1/3 of Savoy. We all are involved heavily in the production, and we all play different instruments on stage, and I play drums on stage.
And I'm Gray. I'm also in Savoy, and Ben is not here yet. He's on a bus on the way here. So.
Stuck on a bus.
Well, thanks you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. So how's the tour going? It looked like Irving Plaza last night was insane. We were talking about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, playing New York's always special, and a lot of energy in that city, and it's a hometown for us. It's one of our home bases, so it's always fun to play in front of friends and family. And it was live streamed. We had like all those like NFL cameras. It was like Super Bowl. We unveiled the new laser setup that we were pretty happy about. So yeah, I mean it was really cool, and we Greg could tell you more about the all the guest stars that we had on stage, but it was
looking at the list, like it's incredible.
It was a unique show.
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, we got to have all our friends out and the original singers on a lot of our tracks, so that's always a blast. And it was actually the first time we've done that with a lot of these new tracks, so it was a lot of fun. But overall, yeah, the tour's been great so far. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, every show's been great, but Atlanta was really fun. Boston was awesome. Irving Plaza was insane. So.
Does it ever surprise you, like when a certain market, like you're like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna do here, and then the crowd just goes nuts, like you're shocked by that?
Yeah, that's always a pleasant surprise. But I mean, sometimes we know going into places we're like, all right, yes, tonight's the night. This is gonna be epic, and that's great. But it's almost like, I mean, I don't want to say more fun, but like. It's nice to have a good surprise like that when you haven't really played a market before. You haven't been there, and then all of a sudden people turn out and they're going nuts. I'm like, oh hell yeah, this is freaking sweet.
Yeah, I mean there are times like we'll play like Fayetteville, Arkansas on like a Wednesday night, and like in the middle of the winter, and it's just like people show up. And, it's like one of the best shows on tour. And you're like, didn't see that coming. These kids know how to party, so. There are a few surprises. Indianapolis just like it became a really good market for us, kind of seemingly out of nowhere. So it's cool.
Indianapolis came out of nowhere. That was sweet. I think on the last tour we played like Virginia Beach or something like that, and on a Tuesday or something, and we didn't really know what to expect, and like that was like raging. We were just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So. So it's nice to have those.
I can imagine. So can you talk to me a little bit about the new laser show and like what's what we can expect even here in Philly tonight? I mean, we saw little tidbits of this online, but
yeah. So just expanding on our existing arsenal, but these are brand new technology that you probably haven't seen before, and I don't want to give too much away, but they look really cool. So we're really excited.
Yeah, and tonight the lasers are going to be really powerful. This is a great room it's almost like a cathedral look out there. And last night, for some technical reasons, we couldn't have the lasers full blast at times, but tonight's going to be like really crazy, really powerful setup.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, in some cities they have restrictions on the amount, or depending on the venue too, but they'll have restrictions on the amount of fog, like the amount of haze you can use, which lasers need a lot of fog to be really visible. So that's an important factor. So I mean, if you're restricted in that way, I mean it's a little bit of a hindrance, but it still looks awesome. But when you can really blast the haze and blast the fog, and that's like when it starts to get crazy.
Absolutely, it's like the whole ambience, the whole thing.
Especially in a smaller room.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, it's like a different animal between playing like some of the open air type of venues versus these smaller, more intimate clubs. Like, do you approach it any differently?
Not like, as far as the show goes, not too much differently. I mean, I think no matter where we're playing as if we were playing an arena or something, just leaving it all out on the table every night, no matter where we're playing. but it is a lot of fun to play these smaller rooms because you can literally look at different people's faces in the crowd and see their reactions and stuff, and it's like, you know, there's nothing better than seeing someone in the crowd that's clearly like really enjoying themselves. So I mean, that's, you know, why we do this stuff. So
Absolutely. So can we talk a little bit about the EP and you know, the recording process behind that? Is there, you know, anything when you were putting it together that like stands out, like, you know, any fun stories?
Fun stories. Let's see. Well, sometimes, I don't know if this really culminated much on the EP, but like a few ideas. I mean, sometimes we'll just go to the studio at like 3 a.m. and invite like 25 people over or something and just have like a party in there, because, you know, you can blast music as late as you want. So it's pretty funny because we'll get all our friends on the mic who have never, you know, sung anything before, and like they're hearing their voice completely dry, and they'll like, you know, just be like, just sing whatever, sing something, and then we'll play it back to them later with like the, you know, the auto tune and all the reverb and the processing, and you see people's faces like, oh my God, that's me! Like crazy.
Yeah, so when you have someone in the studio that could actually sing, you can imagine it gets even that much better.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the songs came together on the EP were like pretty smoothly. I mean, it always depends. Like sometimes you make a track in 2 days and then are like, you know, 95% of it, and then kind of refining it for a little while. And sometimes, you know, depending on what type of track it is, it'll take us like a really long time. But these ones all came together pretty fast, and I think when we were writing Your Time with Tim, that was just a blast. I mean, we just got a bunch of beers and I don't know, we were partying, and then the song kind of came out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah, like, you know, it's cool because for us, like, we kind of took our time on the EP, and we got to play a lot of these songs out live for months, really refine them, listen to them on big systems, and, you know, kind of see energy-wise, like, what could be longer, you know, what could be shorter, what had a really big effect, and we kind of, you know, slowly tweaked it over a decent amount of time. So we were happy with that. And stylistically, the EP, I think, is really cool. Part of the 1,000 years concept is just kind of coming up with something that's somewhat timeless and classic for the electronic music world, and it's something that rages really hard at the shows. I mean, people go crazy over these new songs, but they're also pleasant to listen to if you're like cooking dinner or something. Like it kind of fits in both worlds. So it's something important to us. Like it's not just all bangers on there. There's actually a lot of melodies and things that we borrowed from, you know, rock and roll music, all the classics, and it's really musical. But it also has that kind of core foundation of like big drums, big bass. But there's kind of, you know, guitars and live drums and vocals intertwined throughout the whole thing. It makes it, you know, just like real music, which is lacking in the EDM world.
Absolutely. Like, I think I love that you guys are not afraid to play around with different styles and, you know, incorporating like the live instruments on stage, because a lot of you kind of see the guy behind the board and that's about it.
Yeah.
Pop out for a minute and that's
Right.
it. But it's like actually seeing the show, seeing the people that are creating this, like how important is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. I mean, for us, we were kind of talking about it earlier, you know, you have like rock and roll and you have that aesthetic and you have people shredding and headbang, like, you know, classic, like, you know, iconic rock imagery. And then you have what the DJ world provides, which is like, you know, this like basically like chest rattling bass and the crazy light experience. We kind of asked ourselves, like, why can't you do both? Like,
Right.
You could have a great rock-looking show, you know, drums, guitar, vocals, Gray's like doing a bunch of effects live, beat repeats, all that stuff. And we also, you know, it's a big sounding show, but it looks like a rock show. Like, you know, it's like a Led Zeppelin show with lasers, you know, and huge bass. It's becoming, you know, it's kind of a long time coming. It's something that we always wanted to do. and it just really came together with this EP, and we're already, you know, working hard on an album, and it's like, you know, a lot of those concepts are coming together for that.
So, I mean, what was it like for you guys? You started out in Colorado, correct? Like,
Mhm.
you've made the transition now, so you're up in Brooklyn now, so what's the transition like? Is it, you know, how much of an influence does, you know, where you record something or where you put it together have on the overall, you know, music that you're putting out?
It's a good question. I mean, I feel like maybe not as much nowadays as like before the internet. Because now, I mean, you're just influenced by, you know, anything. Anyone can listen to any music on the internet. You don't really have to be too much in a certain place to be influenced by anything else. But one thing that's nice about New York is that, you know, we've met a lot of good people to collaborate with, and people that, you know, can come over to the studio and work with us in person and that type of stuff. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of great musicians in Colorado too, and we're out there a lot. So, so you get, I mean, both places have different opportunities and different perks, really.
Yeah, I mean, like Grace said, the internet makes it less like geographically isolated.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, you could hear a tune and be like that, you know, a jazz tune and be like, that guy is from St. Louis. Like, I'm pretty positive, like, based on that style. But now you could hear some crazy, like, experimental, like, you know, ambient electronic track or some crazy banger, and it's like some high school kid from suburban Connecticut. So, you know, you just kind of never know. But New York does have that grit, and it's very motivating. You're surrounded by people that are doing really cool stuff. Colorado also. I mean, they're both really inspiring places.
Is there anybody that you guys would like to work with yet that you haven't?
That's tough.
I mean, that list is pretty long.
But like, how long do you
Yeah.
have?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, like, we were just kind of having this conversation on the tour bus, like, who would it be cool to, like, share a stage with? Like, realistically, you know, an LCD's back on tour, Rat-a-Tat's, like, going back on tour. You know, guys like that could be pretty cool. And then you have the whole kind of, you know, they're more on the indie rock scene.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Dragons could be cool. We did a remix for them. And, but there's also like kind of the more heavy, kind of crazy electronic side of things that, I mean, the list is pretty long there too.
That's what I love about like a lot of these music festivals that are popping up. You know, I mean, I feel like there's one like every month now, but you know, it's blurring of it doesn't matter what genre something is. I mean, you've got a lot of EDM, a lot of rock, a lot of indie, metal. It doesn't matter. Like, and I think it's awesome to like see so much diversity in one place, because I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think anybody has to be stuck in a box anymore.
Right.
Yeah, totally. And you know, we always say that like the festivals that we like playing the most are typically the most eclectic ones that have a lot of different styles, where it's not just electronic music all day long and then all night, and then you know, it's great to have a festival that's like, you know, just a range of different styles, so people don't get kind of like, so it doesn't get monotonous, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, with the uprise of social media, and you know, that's the way artists are able to share things instantaneously with fans, you know, how has that had an effect on your approach to anything? You know, even as far as changes in the overall music industry, which ones had the biggest effect on you guys?
Yeah, it's tough to say.
I mean, I think as far as social media goes, I mean, it's just, I mean, there's so many outlets now between Facebook and Twitter and Instagram,
You can't keep track of
Snapchat.
them all.
I mean, it's like a full-time
Yeah.
job, like to like be
It is.
constantly promoting your brand. So, I mean, we've definitely been more mindful of our look and keeping our social media consistent with our brand.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you just have to keep putting more and more thought into it, because I think it's just even even now becoming more and more important to engage with your fans. And I wish, you know, that would have been cool to have, you know, when I was a teenager, like, if I could just reach right out to my favorite band, like, that's like the coolest thing. So we try to stay like pretty accessible, and you know, we always hit people back on Twitter and all that. So it's fun. It's fun to communicate with your fans too. I mean, after all the shows, we always go down and meet all the people there, because, you know, they're good people, and it's just, you know, fun to meet them.
Absolutely. So if you had to list one thing that was misunderstood about the band, is there anything people tend to get wrong?
I mean, I think you know, we've gone through a few different stages, but you know, just having the live element and really having the, you know, those rock roots, even though it's really a dance show. You know, people might be like, oh, Savoy, that's cool, like that just lasers and dubstep or something, and like, you know, that's all they think. But I mean, if you watch it and you know, you listen to the music, it's really it really borrows from all different types of music. And you know, it's still a dance show. It still belongs in the, you know, electronic music umbrella, but it's certainly, you know, pretty freaking rocking. I mean, the last half hour of the set's like a Rage Against the Machine show. So you know, people have different expectations, and I think that's the coolest thing about music. If you go thinking one thing and the band shows you something else, like those are my favorite shows. Like those are my favorite albums. Like, you know, sometimes my favorite albums, like I listen to it once or twice and I don't like it at first, and then they end up, you know, after a few listens, I realize like this shit is dope. Like, this is something I've never heard before, and it made me kind of reconsider what I've liked in the past. And you know, we just like to challenge the status quo as much as possible, but you know, while still being loyal to what we've always done.
Absolutely agree. I always say you have to listen to something, like at least an album 3 times before you can finally, you know, make an opinion, go, okay,
Yeah.
I love this or I hate this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So what is the rest of 2016 hold in store for you guys? Any plans for summer?
Yeah, we're going to be finishing up this tour, and then we're going to be in the studio a lot working on hopefully an album. And so we'll be doing that, and then over the summer we'll be at the festivals. And I'm sure if we
Already got a book.
announce any of those yet.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a bunch booked already, so it's starting to look like a pretty full summer.
That's awesome. Any collaborations in the works?
Yeah, we got a bunch in the works. I mean, not that I can think of right now that's going to be coming out tomorrow, but we've got a lot of stuff in the hopper that we aren't sure if it's going to go on the album or if it's going to be a single, and so yeah. I mean, we've just been working with a bunch of different people, but it's all pretty secretive as of right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited. I'm going to thank you guys so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, I know.